Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Haley, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, Dan.
Well, we've got stuff that you accomplished this week that we're going to talk about.
Yes,
which
I'm excited
was
about that.
really big. We've got a project that I tackled that we're going to talk about. It's not quite as epic as your project. In fact, it's pretty small potatoes compared to your project, but I nailed it. So that makes it worth talking about.
Counts.
Yeah. But before we do that, I want to talk about something that I wanted to talk about last week on the show, but I was robbed of time.
He was robbed.
I was robbed. And a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember the date anymore. Oh, yes, July 15, a day that will live in infamy. I was allowed to throw, or not allowed, I was
asked.
Yeah, sought out to throw the first pitch at a Whitecaps game. And I was nervous, but eager to show everybody how good I was. Because when I was younger, I was going to say little, but I've... That's
There's
just
a
one of
short
those
joke in there
things.
somewhere.
Yeah. No, but when I was younger, I was an amazing baseball player. I mean, I'm normally very humble.
No, you do brag about this, though.
I do. I was very good. And so I was very eager to demonstrate that I still had it. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm hitting 50. We talked about that last week, but this was my opportunity to shine. Yeah. But there was this little voice in the back of my head that said, you know how these things always go, Dan? Prepare for the worst. And I thought, not this time. So I practiced. I knew way ahead that I was going to do this. I practiced in the yard with the children, and I was stellar. I have a baseball in the car. I'd really love to demonstrate that I can do it. Because
you should do a video.
I get to the field for the game, a little bit nervous, but competent. And the very first thing that throws me off is that, I get to the little booth, sign in, and they say, stand over there with the other people who are throwing out the first pitch. And I look, and the only people I see is a little league team. They're all like 8 in their little uniforms. And I thought, oh my goodness, if I am the only grown-up amongst all these children, the
really
work people, because it was a work event, a Repco Light event, I was never going to hear the end of it. And fortunately, no, it wasn't that group that was throwing. There were a couple adults with me, and then it turned out to be a couple of little girls who were celebrating, I think, their 9th birthdays.
Oh, cool.
All right? Well, anyway, long story short, we get to the field, the little girls go first, and they nail it. A nice little lob straight to the catcher, and then the adults come up, and the first 2 didn't do great, but, I'm going to close it out. No, threw the ball.
You were the closer?
I was the closer.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And I threw it straight to the left. The catcher had to dive and slide to catch it. I got back to the Repco Light booth, and everybody said, well, that blew. Yep, that's how life goes. So anyway, I was all excited to demonstrate, and I didn't do it. I got back to the kids because my kids came and watched, and I said, how did I do? And they said, well, it wasn't terrible.
You weren't the worst.
You weren't the worst, yeah. Anyway,
You'll
pride...
get another shot.
Why?
I
will
think
I?
You will. Yeah. We'll make it happen, Dan.
Maybe a little league team. I could throw out the first pitch there. Some shorter distance. Anyway, let's get to the stuff we've got to talk about. And yours revolves around your garage project.
Yes.
And you should probably give a quick recap about what you're doing because it's pretty epic.
We've talked about it before on the show, but I am finishing my garage right now, which means that I am completely finishing it. This is a 100-year-old garage, 2-stall, and it was just wood studs in there, not insulated at all, and concrete floors. Nothing spectacular, but I'm going
just
to
garage.
Drywall it. Finish the floors a little bit. I'm walling off the garage doors. I'm turning this into an art studio for myself, so I want it to look really good.
Yeah.
And I tackled the garage floors this past week.
Not to paint them or do anything but to prepare them or to clean them, right?
Just to clean them, essentially, because this garage, I'm pretty sure whoever lived there first had some kind of automotive hobby. There's drains in the floors on either side, where you would park the cars, right? So whatever they're doing, everything, I guess, would just drain into the ground. I have no idea where these drains
so they're just potentially
lead.
Okay.
Which is a little problematic. But yeah, that's what it is. And then there is this little box on the outside of the garage that doesn't lead anywhere. It's got this little door on it. And it was one of the things I was really curious about when I first saw the house.
How big is it?
What would this be for?
How big is it?
like
Okay, small.
Yeah, small.
Not like a hideout box.
No.
So I couldn't sit there
Like
and
a
hide.
little like cubby,
Okay,
like a
so
little
not an
mailbox
outhouse,
almost.
not a hideout box. Maybe he put his keys there.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe they
That's
dropped
the
keys
theory.
off.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It could
look
be
at
a
that.
key drop box.
I should have been on Scooby-Doo.
Which one would you be?
I don't know, probably, I don't know.
Scooby.
No, I'd probably be, I don't know who I would be in the group.
I don't know either.
I'll think about
Velma?
it. Velma.
Yeah. You lose your glasses. So.
I lose my glasses all the time. So Velma, yep, there we go. But at least I can solve the mystery.
Yes.
So you've got all of that going on, and the reason all of that's important is because the garage floor is covered with oil and grease and all kinds of yuck.
Bad stains.
And so what we want to talk about is how you got that up. At least
Yes.
that's part of it, and then we're going to talk about some other getting the garage cleaned up.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes this applicable to anybody out there is if you're dealing with concrete stains and stuff like that, Hailey stumbled onto this really interesting cleaner,
Yeah.
and we want to kind of give it a review, right?
Exactly. I
don't know
review it.
how well it worked or not. I know you did
Right.
it, but I don't really know
I have
the
not
end results.
revealed everything to you, and I've got some videos of the process that I'll post as well. But yeah, it was very interesting. I originally thought I was just going to use like a basic Zep degreaser, not basic, it was industrial strength. But I thought that would work really well at getting these grease stains up when I started to read the back of the package.
So you bought it, you got it all set to go,
Yeah, I
and
got
start
really
reading
afraid.
it. What did you find that made you so afraid, Hailey?
It just had like all of these crazy side effects if I were to inhale the fumes.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Like
always
what?
get nervous. Like,
I love side effects.
like the basic stuff, like,
Death.
yeah. But also, like, it said depression as one of the side effects, which I thought, like,
Normally,
no thanks.
depression is having the problem. Depression is working on the problem. Normally, solving it alleviates that, but not with this chemical.
No,
you get to
apparently-
keep going with that depression.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like,
Awesome.
no thanks. I don't need a mental illness. So I decided to pass on that, and I found this ACT, ACE, cleaner.
ACE? Act?
ACT, sorry.
Okay, I thought it was one of
Yes.
those weird spellings. It's those strange ones where E's sound like T's when followed or preceding C's.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
one of those
not
rules.
that.
You can
No.
take that to the bank. So it's ACT, not ACE.
ACT, not ACE.
All right. So you found ACT, and you thought, what? This is a more biodegradable, a more Hailey friendly?
Yes, Hailey friendly, pet friendly, plant friendly. It's essentially microbes that eat the oil stain. It's the
Okay.
same technology they actually use to clean up oil spills, like in the ocean, or on a property. Like, this is the technology that's used for those things, just on like a residential scale. But it's a very unique process that you use in order to clean up these oil spills with ACT.
How much was this? Let's start with how much was this compared to the Zep heavy duty industrial?
The Zep was
degreaser?
more expensive.
More expensive, and you
Yeah.
already bought that.
Right.
Haley's Miss Moneybags.
Yep, just throwing
Just
it away.
Buying, whatever. So that was more expensive. Then you bought this ACT. How did it come?
It's in like a little screw top container. It's a powder, and it was about $25. You do have to order it online. That's kind of the bummer, is that I cannot find anywhere local that carries this stuff.
Okay.
So something to keep in mind. You're going to have to look online for it.
And you were doing, is this for a full floor degreasing, or is this like a spot
This
degreaser?
is a spot degreaser is what it's meant for.
Can you get it in larger quantities, or is that what you get it in?
You can from the ACT website. However, I ordered it from a third-party website and wasn't able to get a larger size. So I got multiple smaller sizes of the ACT cleaner.
Just money.
And yes, again, just throwing it away.
All right. So, but if anybody's got small, like a spot degreaser, you're talking dinner plate size, bigger.
Right.
You did a fair amount with it. I know that much.
I did a 2-stall garage with 2 containers of it. So it
Oh.
goes a long way.
All
Like,
right.
you would have this stuff forever if you're just spot cleaning your driveway from time to time. So yeah, the price of $25 for essentially something that's going to last you years is not bad.
All right. Okay. So we're talking about degreasing Haley's garage
Mm-hmm.
floor, and she picked up ACT, degreaser, kind of earth friendly, pet friendly, Haley
Mm-hmm.
friendly. It's something that's meant to be a spot degreaser. But she used it over the whole floor.
Yeah, push it to the limits.
So let's find out how it worked. We're going to have to talk about the process and all of that on the other side of the break. Can you do that?
Yes.
Can you wait with me over the break?
I will wait with you, Dan.
Yeah, you're paid to. You have to. All right, we'll be back in just a minute to talk about how this degreaser worked and whether it's right for your next project just ahead. Stay tuned. And we're back, and we're working through Hailey's garage project, actually a degreasing of the floor. So if you've got any concrete, it can be a real pain. You've got oil spills or whatever, whether you did it, a previous owner did it. Dealing with that, I mean, it's ugly.
Right, it's an eyesore.
Yeah, and trying to get that cleaned up can be a bit of a pain. We don't always do that, so we don't know really how to do it. It's really fun when we run into somebody who has done it, tackled it, used some different products, and can give us some feedback on those products. And that's what we're doing right now. The product that Hailey used was called ACT. If you spell it the Hailey way, it's ACE, as she said in the last segment, but it turns out it's actually ACT.
Yeah, it was a Freudian slip.
Yep. So anyway, ACT, biodegradable, safe for pets, all of that comes in a little container. You ordered it online.
Yep. Comes in a powder form.
Let's talk about how it works. It's microbes that are going to eat
exactly
this grease up.
So essentially, the process is sprinkling this powder onto the concrete. And the concrete should be dry when you do this. And that's what's a little bit strange about this process. It's counterintuitive, I would say. So you're sprinkling it on the dry concrete, and not a ton of it. It doesn't take a whole lot, just like a thin layer. And then you're scrubbing that dry powder into the dry concrete with like a soft bristle brush. So wear a mask. That's what I learned right off the bat, because
lots of powder.
It's so dusty. This is a super, super fine powder, and scrubbing it there's like an immediate dust cloud.
Okay.
So highly recommend a mask.
So when you're scrubbing it, are you seeing like all kinds of, the grease starting to come up already into this powder, or it's still staying white?
You're really just trying to get it into the pores of the concrete at this point. And then once you've kind of finished that process, then you're wetting it, and you're doing that by just lightly misting the powder, so it kind of turns like a dark gray. You just want it to be wet.
Hailey did this, and she showed me the little videos she made.
Yes.
And she filmed it herself. She did a really good job. It was very intimidating that you did so well with it.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, the one part I thought was hilarious, but I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to be that person. But she starts to wet it, and according to the instructions, it says to use a little Mr. spray bottle.
Exactly, like a hand spray bottle.
And I thought, I think that's probably for spot cleaning. Yeah. And Hailey's going to do a whole garage. And I thought, she's going to have Popeye arms when this thing's done. How long did that last for you?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I did more than I should have. My arm just got extremely sore, and I was like, okay, there has to be another way. It says not to use a hose,
right?
Specifically on the directions, do not use a hose. But I thought, I have to. There's a spray function or a mist function on the spray nozzle,
and I'm sure
the
that's
same thing.
That's what they're banking on. They're banking on somebody's gonna just rinse all of the stuff away.
Yeah.
So you missed it. You can use a hose. Go for it. Use a hose. You did,
yes,
and
I had good results.
Good results. So you can mist it on. Just make sure you're not overpowering it with that spray. A garden sprayer with water would work if you want to go that route.
Exactly. You're trying to wet it and not wash it away.
Right. At Repcolite, we sell it's for wallpaper stripping, but it's a great big spray bottle, but it's something you hold. It's handheld, but it's like a pump-up garden sprayer, just a very small version of it. That would work really well.
Totally.
Super easy to work. Those are great for cleaning, just general cleaning. I use it all the time. Quick little side note there. So you misted it, just smacked my microphone. So you hit my keyboard. What's next? What's going down? So you misted it. Oh, my voice broke.
Take 5.
So you misted it.
Yeah.
How long did you have to let it sit once you did that?
I let it sit overnight, actually. Because
did you keep getting up in the middle of the night to keep it wet? Did it have to stay wet?
You.
Not everybody can be this amazing.
You want it to evaporate. So that's kind of what the microbes are doing. You've activated them when they're wet. And so now it's doing all of that oil eating. And as it dries, everything is supposed to be evaporating. So like the oil is just disappearing.
It's going away? Like disappearing.
I don't understand the technology completely, but that's what it's essentially doing. Yeah.
Okay, so you did that, you let it dry, you wake up the next morning, rub the little sleepers out of your eyes, stagger into the garage with your coffee cup, and you assess the scene.
Yeah, I wasn't excited.
Okay. Okay. Do you get excited? I hope we don't go through all of this and say it didn't work really well.
No, we'll
Okay.
we'll get to
We
excitement.
got 3 minutes to do it.
All right. When I first opened the door, I was a little disappointed because it made it sound like it was just going to be magic. Like everything's gone now. The
Floor was
powder,
gonna
everything,
sparkle.
it's just done. That's all I had to do. No, that's not what it looked like at all. It looked like I had powdered sugar all over the garage floor. It was just white powder now instead of gray. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to get rid of this.
Yep.
Like, I can't just leave a powder on the floor, which is what it was telling me to do in the directions.
Just leave
that
it.
You're just done now.
Okay.
So I think it's probably saying that for people that are using this in an application on the driveway where like eventually rain is just going to wash this stuff away. But this was my garage floor and it was the entire floor.
Yeah.
So it was a huge cleanup after the fact. And that was a little
Did you just
disappointing.
sweep it up? Did you vacuum it up?
No, I took a hose to it. Well, first I swept it as much as possible.
Sure, then rinsed it.
Then I rinsed it and I squeegeed out the water and kind of scrubbed it as I was rinsing. But after doing all of that, then letting it dry for another 24 hours, I came back and was very excited. It actually worked really well because they were really, really dark stains. And to have it do anything to that, especially them being so old, was really impressive. So it's definitely way less noticeable than it was. I'll have before and after pictures in the show notes so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's definitely still a stain there, but it's nowhere near as dark as it was, which is really what I was going for.
Well, yeah, that's really impressive. So for smaller scale stuff, probably even better results, I would think, because you can focus a little more on it. You had a whole
And like fresher
two-stall
things
garage.
too. You know, I have no idea how long these stains have been there for. So I think if you've got a fresh stain on the driveway, or even if it's just a couple years old, you're going to have better results.
All right, so that's all really cool. Anything else that you learned in this process or about this product that you used
Honestly,
that you convey?
You know what I learned? When you get a squeegee for the floor, get one that's a curved side squeegee instead of the straight across squeegee. Because I had to squeegee all of the water out of the garage. And this was the part that I was really proud of, is that I picked the right squeegee. Because I think if I would have just gone with a straight across normal squeegee, the water would have just totally dissipated instead of being directed out the door.
No, it's one of those really bizarre tools that most of us don't buy. You know, we got a little squeegee for our windows,
Right.
but not a floor squeegee, but it's really handy.
It was really satisfying.
Well, yeah, and like you said, the curved ones, how much were they?
Like $25.
$25. Yeah, when you've got 25 extra bucks just kicking around and you're thinking, boy, what do I do with this money? Well, maybe go buy a floor squeegee. But really handy for cleaning the garage, doing all
very
kinds of
fun.
things, not just this.
Right.
But if you do that, if you do that, make sure you're getting a curved one. And, I really wished that I had one when my hot water heater blew in the basement, because I could have channeled the water a little better to our cleanup. Instead, we were just, well, I don't want to talk
Chasing
about
it
that.
around,
It
yeah.
was pretty bad and pretty dumb, but it was happening at 10 o'clock at night, and I couldn't run to the store. All right, we're going to put a link in the show notes to the product that you used. If you've got stains like that on the concrete, grease, oil, it's definitely something to check out. User-friendly, Hailey approved.
Yeah.
Check it out. That's in the show notes. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about my project and the amazingness that I bring to everything I do. That's all just ahead. Stay tuned. Are we good?
I think so. Was it okay?
I think it was good.
Okay.
Don't you?
Yeah. Is it boring?